So, and, good day everyone. So today we will discuss the strategic implementation, organizing, and action. So next slide. Learning objectives is to understand meaning of strategy implementation, to identify and enumerate the levels of strategy, and to identify the strategies for the different functions in the organization. Next slide, please. So, ano nga ba ang strategy implementation? It is the sum total of the activities and choices required for the execution of a strategic plan. It is also the process by which objectives, strategies, and policies are put into action through the development of programs, budgets, and procedures. So, later on, madidiscuss yung development of programs, budgets, and procedures. So, focus muna tayo sa strategy implementation. So, strategy implementation, ito yung parang kumbaga crucial phase na ng strategic management process na kung saan yung mga plano ay ipo-brought into life na through a series of coordinated actions and decisions. Kasi kung hindi magko-coordinate yung actions and decisions, maaaring mag-result ito into a poor implementations. So, strategy formulation and strategy implementation should thus be considered as two sides of the same coin. It suggests that strategy development and strategy execution are inseparable and interdependent aspects that strategic management process. In other words, they are closely connected and rely on each other for success. Next slide, please. Next, let's proceed where to begin the implementation process. So, these questions and familiar ones should have been addressed initially when the pros and cons of strategic alternatives were analyzed. And also, kailangan din ulit sila i-address again before appropriate implementation plans can be made. Unless top management can answer the basic question satisfactorily, even the best planned strategy is unlikely to provide the desired outcome. Next slide. So, who implements this strategy? Depending on how a corporation is organized, those who implement the strategy will probably be a much more diverse set of people than those who formulate it. In most large multi-industry corporations, the implementers are everyone in the organization. Vice presidents or of functional areas are and directors of divisions or strategic business units work with their subordinates to put together large-scale implementation plans. Plant manager, project managers, and unit heads put together plans for their specific plans, department, and unit. So this means that virtually every operational management manager down to first line supervisors and all employees is involved in some aspect of implementing the corporation strategy, whether they are corporate level, business level, or related to specific functions. They are all involved in the entire organization and not just a select few at the top. So many people within an organization who are crucial for successfully implementing a strategy might not have been involved in its development. As a result, they may not fully understand the data and effort that went into creating the strategy. So, para maiwasan to prevent resistance and reluctance to change, it is important to clearly communicate the company's mission, objectives, strategies, and policies to all operational managers. Without this clear communication, this can be there can be resistance, and some managers may attempt to persuade top management revert to old ways. This is why involving people at all levels in both the development and implementation of strategy tends to lead to better organizational performance, involving more people in the process of ensure a shared understanding and commitment to the strategy. Next slide. Next is what must be done. So the managers of division and functional areas work with their fellow manager to develop programs, budget, and procedures for the implementation of strategy. They also work to achieve synergy among the divisions and functional areas in order to establish and maintain a company's distinctive competence. So sabi dito, managers in different divisions or functional areas, they collaborate to create plans, allocate resources, and set guidelines for implementing the company's strategy. So ini-aim nila na ma-ensure that these plans work well together and create a competitive advantage for the company, sabi nga, known as the distinctive competence. Next ay developing programs. So, strategy implementation involves establishing programs to create a series of new organizational activities, budget to allocate funds to the new activities, and procedure to handle the day-to-day details. So, ibig sabihin, strategy implementation means creating a new organizational activities, allocating the funds to these activities through budgets, and establishing it day-to-day procedure to manage them. Next slide. So programs is the purpose of program is to make a strategy action oriented. So, ang example na nasa module ay yung sa Xerox Corporation. They undertook a turnaround strategy. It needed to significantly reduce its costs and expenses. Management introduced a program called Lean Six Sigma na madidiscuss din mamaya. So, this program was developed to identify and improve a poorly performing process. So, Xerox first trained its top executives in the programs and then launched around 250 individual Six Sigma projects throughout the corporation. The result was $6 million in savings in 1 year, with even more expected the next. So the next slide. Pala. So as shown in figure 4.1, the target practices. The new programs for a manufacturing plant are drawn in the vertical axis, and the existing practices' current activities are drawn on the horizontal axis. As shown, any new strategy will likely involve a sequence of new programs and activities. The proposed program of installing flexible equipment interferes with the proposed programs of assembly line rationalization. So, the two new programs need to be changed so that they no longer conflict with each other. Note also that the amount of change necessary to carry out the proposed implementation programs, which is the target practices, is a function of the number of times each program interferes with existing practices or activities. That is, the more minus signs and the fewer plus signs in the matrix, the more implementation problem can be expected. Next slide, please. So here is the matrix of change can be used to address the following types of question. The next one is the feasibility. Do the proposed programs and activities constitute a coherent, stable system? Are the current activities coherent and stable? Is the transition likely to be difficult? In this aspect of the matrix, it helps to assess the practicality of the proposed change. It addresses whether the new programs and activities fit together well and are stable. It also considered where the current activities are already coherent and stable. Evaluating the feasibility of change helps determine the likelihood of smooth and transition or potential difficulties. Next is the sequence of execution. So, ito yung tanong, where should the change begin? How does the sequence affect success? Are there reasonable stopping points? So, the matrix helps in deciding where to start implementing the change. It examines the order in which different components of the change should be executed and how the sequence impact overall success. It also considered whether there are natural points at which the change can be paused or reviewed. Next is the location. Are we better off instituting the new programs at a new site, or can we reorganize the existing facilities at reasonable cost? So, in this aspect, it deals with the physical or structural consideration of change and explore whether it is more beneficial to establish new programs in a new location or if reorganizing existing facilities is a cost-effective option. It's about deciding where the change should happen. Next is the pace and nature of change. Should the change be slow or fast, incremental or radical? Which block of current activities must be at the same time? So, This part of the matrix delves into the speed and scope of the change. Should the change be gradual or rapid, and should be incremental or radical shift? It also identifies which existing activities need to change simultaneously, considering the interplay between them. And lastly, the stakeholder evaluation. So, dito naman, dito sa matrix na to, it helps in evaluating the perspective and inputs of various stakeholder. It assesses whether any crucial activities or interactions have been overlooked and whether further input is needed from interested parties. It also considers which new programs and current activities provide the most value. All in all, the matrix of change is valuable for organization to systematically analyze and plan for significant changes. It enables the decision makers to address a range of critical questions related to feasibility sequence, location, pace, and stakeholder perspective in the process of implementing change. So, pabalik nga sa unang slide. Sa naunang slide. Isa pa. So, yung matrix of change was proposed by Rinjolfsson, Renshaw, and Van Alstyne. They propose a matrix of change to help managers decide how quickly change should proceed, in what order changes should take place, whether to start a new site, and whether the proposed system are stable and coherent. Next na. Isa pa. So the whole structure approach can improve the chances of successful change management and reduce the risk associated with organizational transition. So let's proceed with budgets. Budgets, after programs have been developed, the budget process begins. Planning a budget is the last real check or corporation has on the feasibility of its selected strategy. An ideal strategy might be found to be completely practical only after specific implementations program are closed in detail. So, sabi dito, in essence, the budgeting process helps to ensure that the chosen strategy is financially viable and can be realistically executed. Next is the procedure. So, after the program, divisional and corporate budgets are approved, procedures must be developed. Often called standard operating procedures, they typically detail the various activities that must be carried out to a complete corporation's program, also known as organizational routines. Procedures are the primary means by which organizations accomplish much of what they do. So, the budgeting process, which follows the development of strategic programs, is a crucial step to confirm the practicality of the strategy. At this stage, the strategy feasibility assessed by examining the cause of detailed implementing programs. It is reality check to ensure that the strategy is not only sound in theory but also financially viable for practices execution. Once in a place, procedures must be updated to reflect any changes in technology as well as strategy. For example, a company is following a differentiation competitive strategy manages its sales for more closely than a firm following a low-cost strategy. So differentiation requires a long-term customer's relationship created out of close interaction with the sales force and in-depth in the understanding of the customer's needs provides the foundation for product development and improvement. Next.
So next is how is strategy to be implemented, organizing for action. Next po. So before plans can lead to actual performance, a corporation should be appropriately organized, programs should be adequately staffed, and activities should be directed toward achieving desired objects. So dito is kailangan na natin maayos agad yung mga program na gagawin natin. Dapat is ma-organize na natin ng tama yung mga plano. Dito, ang change in corporate strategy is very likely to require some sort of change in the way an organization is structure and in kind of skills needed in particular position. So, kapag nagko-corporate ka ng strategy is hindi maiiwasang magkaroon ng pagbabago which likely kunwari papaltan mo yung mga managers na italaga mo in particular positions or ililipat mo sila dun sa mga gawain na nakikita mong mas nag-e-excel sila para mas maging maganda yung takbo ng company. Next po. Next is structure follows strategy. Alfred Chandler concluded that structure follows strategy, that is, changes in corporate strategy lead to changes in organizational structure. So, dito, naniniwala daw si Chandler that structure follows strategy, which is kapag nagbago ka daw ng strategy, is magbabago din ang organizational structure mo. Example, gumagamit ka ng differentiation strategy na which is need more freedom from headquarters to be successful. Tapos magbabago ka ng strategy which is the low cost strategy. So kailangan mo ding baguhin ang organization structure mo to make it successful. So bakit ba natin kailangan magbago ng strategy? Kailangan nating magbago-bago ng strategy dahil hindi naman palaging magiging effective ang previous strategy natin and maaari ding mabasa ng ibang company na paulit-ulit lang ang ginagamit nating strategy tapos kontrahin nila. Next is Chandler therefore proposed the following as the sequence of what occurs. So dito, pinopose ni Chandler yung mga maaaring mag-occurs kapag hindi nagbago ng strategy. Number one is new strategies created. Number two is new administrative problems emerge. 3, economic performance declines. 4, new appropriate structure is invented. 5, profit returns to its previous level. So, hindi ko na ito ipapaliwanag. Alam ko namang naiintindihan nyo na ito. Next po. So, next is stages of corporate development. Successful corporations tend to follow a pattern of structural development as they grow and expand, beginning with the simple structure of the entrepreneurial firm in which everybody does everything. Successful corporations usually get larger and organized along functional lines, with marketing, production, and finance department. With continuing success, the company adds new product lines in different industries and organizes itself into interconnected divisions. So, next na po. Stage 1 is typified by the entrepreneur who found a company to promote an idea, a product, or a service. The entrepreneur tends to make all the important decisions personally and is involved in every detail and phase of the organization. The stage 1 company has little formal structure which allows the entrepreneur to directly supervise the activities of every employee. So dito sa simple structure, yung entrepreneur lang ang gumagawa ng mga mahahalagang decisions para sa organizations. Then ang entrepreneur lang din ang nagsusupervise sa mga employees nito. Next po. Stage 2 is the point when the entrepreneur is replaced by a team of managers who have functional specializations. The transitions to this stage requires a substantial managerial style change for the chief officer of the company, especially if he or she was the stage 1 entrepreneur. He or she must learn to delegate, otherwise having additional staff members yields no benefits to the organization. So dito sa stage 2 na functional structure, dito naman pinapalitan na yung mga entrepreneur ng mga team managers na may kanya-kanyang specialization. So dito, kailangan ng substantial managerial style kapag magta-transition ka from stage 1 to stage 2. Kasi dito, kailangan mo mag-add ng employees. Paano kung di mo alam yung, di mawalan din ng saysay ang pag-a-add mo ng mga employees. Next po, stage 3. Stage 3, divisional structure. In stage 3 is typified by the corporations managing diverse product lines in numerous industries. It decentralized the decision-making authority. Stage 3 organizations grow by diversifying their product lines and expanding to cover wider geographical areas. Um, they move to a divisional structure with central headquarters and decentralized operating divisions, with each division or business unit a functionally organized stage company. Next na po. Stage 4 beyond SBUS. Even with its evolution into SBUS during the 1970s and 1980s, the divisional structure is not the last word in organizational structure. The use of SBU may result in a red tape crisis in which the corporation has grown too large and complex to be managed through formal program and rigid system and procedures take precedence over problem solving. Next na po, blocks to changing stages. Dito naman, blocks to changing stages. Corporations often find themselves in difficulty because they are blocked from moving into the next logical stage of development. Blocks to be development may be internal, such as lack of resources, lack of ability, or refusal of top management to delegate decisions making to others, or external, such as economic conditions, labor shortage, and lack of market growth. So, dito, nagkakaroon ng blocks in changing stages like sa internal, nagkukulang sa resources, sa ability, at saka yung hindi pagpayag ng top management na ipaubaya ang pagdedesisyon sa iba. Or sa external naman, which is economic condition, sa pagbabago ng ekonomiya, labor shortage o pagkonti ng manggagawa at lack of market growth or halos hindi nag-i-improve ang market ng company. Next po. Entrepreneurs who starts business generally have four tendencies that work very well for small new ventures but become Achilles heels for these same individuals when they try to manage a large firm with diverse needs departments, priorities, and constituencies. So, dito naman is pag-uusapan natin yung four tendencies na nagwo-work very well sa mga small business but becomes problem when try to manage large firms. So, ang una is loyalty to comrades, which is sa simula maganda but becomes liability as favoritism. Kasi example, sinusunod mo lahat ng pinagagawa sa'yo ng managers, parang nagiging sip-sip ka, which is maaaring magalit sa'yo ang mga co-employees mo kapag nalaman. Tapos hindi ka kakausapin. So doon magkakaroon ng problema. Mawawala ng communications between the employees. Next is task-oriented. Focusing on the job is critical at first but then becomes excessive attention to detail. Next po. Next is yung single-mindedness, which is nakafocus ka lang sa isang vision, which is public po pala. Single mind Next is single-mindedness, which is nakafocus ka lang sa isang vision, which is paano pag naabot mo yung vision na yon, tama na, then tigil na. So, paano pag mas lumaki pa yung business kaysa sa na vision mo, anong gagawin mo? Next is working in isolation. This is good for a brilliant scientist but disastrous for a CEO with multiple constituencies. Next na po. Organizational life cycle. Instead of considering stages of development in terms of structure, the organizational life cycle approach places the primary emphasis on the dominant issue facing the corporation. Organizational structure is only a secondary concern. The organizational life cycle describes how organizations grow, develop, and eventually decline. It is the organizational equivalent in the product life cycle in marketing. These stages are growth, growth stage, maturity, and decline. And that the impact of these stages on corporate strategy is this, and the structure is summarized in table 9. So, next po, yung table. So, dito sa table, sa stage 1, ipinapakita yung birth or pagkakagawa or pagsilang ng isang company. Sa next stage naman, sa stage 2 or growth, dito nag-uumpisa ng kumita ang company na naitayo mo or nagkakaroon ng paglago. Ng sunod naman is yung stage 3 which is yung maturity. So dito, naabot na ng company yung peak niya o tuktok. Dito kumikita na ng malaki ang company. Dito nagkakaroon na sila ng malaking deals. Um, Next is yung stage 4, decline. From the word itself, decline, bumababa na yung progress ng company, mas nagiging mababa na din ang production nila. Sa madaling salita, nalulugi na. Next is yung stage 4 which is stage 5 which is death, yung kinatatakutan ng mga company. So dito nababankrupt na yung company, tumitigal na ito sa production. Next po.
So the next one is advanced types of organizational structure. Structure niya. So matrix structure. The matrix structure in contrast may be very appropriate when organization conclude that neither functional nor divisional forms, even when combined with horizontal linking mechanisms such as SBUs, are right for their situation. So when we say matrix structure, it is type of organizational structure that combines elements of both functional and divisional structures within a single organization. So sa matrix structure, useful siya when it comes sa external environment, especially its technological and market aspects. Ang matrix structures come in different forms, such as weak matrix, where functional managers have more authority. Balanced matrix, where both functional and project managers share authority equally, and strong matrix, where project managers have more authority. So sa matrix structures, effective siya sa organization where projects and initiatives require input from multiple functions, and syempre kailangan din ng um, for, for flexibility and quick decision making. So, as you can see naman sa picture, yung nasa gilid, yung manager project A, project B, project C, and project D. Tapos yung sa taas, manufacturing, sales, finance, human resources. So, sa manufacturing, may under siya. Sa sales, meron din siyang under sa finance at saka sa human resources. So, Davis and Lawrence, authorities on the matrix form of organization, propose that three distinct phases exist in the development of the matrix structure. The first one is the temporary cross-functional task forces. So dito, it refers to groups or teams that are formed for a specific project, task, or objective, and composed of individuals from various functional areas or departments within an organization. Kumbaga, yung mga members of the task force come from different functional areas or departments such as marketing, finance, operation, and so on. So, parang nagkakaroon sila ng diversity, tapos it allows for a broader range of expertise and perspective to be brought to the project. Sa temporary cross-functional task forces, mas nagagamit to sa organizations to address complex issues, launch new products or initiatives, or solve specific problems that require input and collaboration from different parts of the company. The next is the product or brand management. So dito naman, it involves various activities aimed at maximizing the products or brand's potential and ensuring its success in the market. The next is the mature matrix. Dito naman, it refers to a stage or state within a matrix organizational structure that has developed and evolved over time to become more stable or well-established and saka, syempre, effective. The next one is the network structure or the virtual organization. So, dito sa network structure, concept niya is yung parang virtual organization. It represents a flexible and dynamic approach to organizing work. So, dito, sa structure na to, yung mga companies, mas nagre-rely sila sa network of external partners such as suppliers and contractors to accomplish tasks and projects. And also, it allows for agility and specialization as organization can quickly assemble teams with the specific expertise required for a project, leading to cost efficiency and adaptability. So for example, nito yung mga VPN, which is the Virtual Private Network, parang nag-create sila ng secure connection between one network tap, and another over the internet. So yung mga VPNs, it allows employees to connect to business networks when working at home and also um, commonly used to get around internet censorship and prevent browser history to be visible on public Wi-Fi networks. So, dito sa structure na to, mas dito yung technology and connectivity para ma-facilitate yung collaboration and communication among network entities, enabling companies to operate efficiently without the need for a large or permanent workforce. So dito sa picture, nung nasa gitna yung corporate headquarters, parang di ba, parang siyang nag-aano ng nagpa-facilitate siya ng collaboration dun sa packagers, sa suppliers, sa distributors, designers, manufacturers, at dun sa promotion advertising agencies. Parang nagko-connect sila between one network or one company. The next one is cellular or modular organization. So, dito naman, ang cellular or modular organization, nagre-represent ito sa innovative approach to structuring companies. Kumbaga, sa model na ito, yung mga independent units or small business, mas nagpo-focus sila sa specific organizational processes or activities. So, dito sa structure, mas ina-emphasize nila yung flexibility and efficiency by allowing organizations to scale, reorganize, or diversify rapidly without overhauling the entire company. Kumbaga, nung parang nagre-repair or mas ini-improve nila or improving something so that every part of it works as it should. Yan. The next one is the re-engineering and strategy implementation. So, re-engineering is the radical redesign of business process to achieve major gains in cost, service, or time. It is not in itself a type of structure, but it is an effective program to implement a turnaround strategy. So, dito sa re-engineering, also known as business process re-engineering, ito yung parang fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of business processes sa isang organization to achieve significant improvements in performance, efficiency, and overall effectiveness. So, dito sa re-engineering, may benefits din to. No? Siyempre, sa re-engineering, pwedeng ma-reduce ng operational cost, makapag ma-enhance yung quality of product or services, and improve customer service, at saka mas ma-boost yung profits. So, principles of re-engineering: organize around outcomes, not tasks. Have those who use the output of the process perform the process. Subsume information processing work into the real work that produce the information. Treat geographically dispersed resources as though they were centralized. Link parallel activities instead of integrating the results. Put the decision point where the works perform and build control into the process and capture information once at the source. So, dumako naman po tayo sa Six Sigma. So, Six Sigma is an analytical method for achieving near perfect results on a production line. So, the Six Sigma, it is a set of techniques for process improvement, and it aims to minimize the defects and errors in process, products, and services to enhance quality and reduce variation. So, sa Six Sigma, may 5 steps. The first one is define. Siyempre, kailangan natin i-define yung, kailangan natin ma-identify yung problem, project goals, and customer requirements. The next one is the measure. Collecting data and quantifying the current process performance. Analyze. Siyempre, kailangan din natin i-identify yung causes of defects and variations. Next, the improve, implementing changes to the process to reduce defects and errors. And the last one is establish, maintaining the improved process and continuously monitoring it to prevent regression. So, Lean Six Sigma. So, dito, combination to ng Lean and Six Sigma methodologies. So, nagpa-focus ko on eliminating waste, which is the Lean, and reducing defects, which is the Six Sigma in process, with the goal of achieving efficiency and quality improvement. So, dito, ito yung approach, or this approach combines the principle of both Lean and Six Sigma to optimize operations and deliver value to customers. Designing jobs to implement strategy. So, job design, it refers to the study of individual tasks in an attempt to make them more relevant to the company and to the employees. So, kapag sinabing job design, it refers to the process of structuring and also organizing the elements of a job, such as tasks, responsibilities, and relationship, para ma-achieve yung specific objectives and para ma-enhance din yung overall productivity and job satisfaction. So, ang primary goal ng job design is to create jobs that are efficient, effective, and meaningful for employees. It involves determining the content of the job, the methods and techniques used to complete tasks, and syempre yung relationship between individuals and their roles within an organization. So, job enlargement, dito naman, ito yung job design na involved sa adding more tasks and responsibilities to a job to make it more varied and interesting. The next is the job rotation. Kapag sinabing job rotation, ito yung workforce management strategy where employees are moved through a variety of roles or tasks within an organization. Kumbaga is pa pauli-uli sila. Hindi na sa pauli-uli. Parang nag-iiba sila ng role. So, the next is the job enrichment. Dito naman, involves yung enhancing the content and responsibility of a job to make it more engaging, challenging, and satisfying for employees. The job characteristics is a good example of a job enrichment.
Next naman po ay international issues in strategy implementation. Next, multinational corporation or MNC is a highly developed international company with a deep involved throughout the world, thus a worldwide perspective in its management and decision making. A multinational corporation is a company that does business is in a select few countries around the world and operates facilities such as a warehouse or distribution centers in at least foreign country. Next po. Spoolbirds the force pushing for standardizations. There are, there are 10 forces. First is convergence in customer preference and income across target countries, competition from a successful global products, growing customer awareness of international brands, economies of scale, falling trading costs across countries, cultural cultural exchange and business interaction among countries. Next, persistent differences in customer preferences, persistent differences in customers' income, the need to build local brand reputation, competition from successful innovation domestic companies, variation in trading costs across countries, and local regulatory requirements. There are the spool burst forces pushing for standardization. Next po. Next naman ay International Strategic Alliance. Strategic alliance such joint venture and licensing agreement between an MNC and a local partner in a host country, becoming increasingly popular as a means by which a corporation can gain entry into other countries, especially less developed countries. The key to successful implementation of those strategies is the selection of the local partners. International strategic alliance is the typically defined as a collaborative arrangement between firms headquartered in different countries. Next po. Um, Key drivers for strategic fit between alliance partners. First is partners must agree on fundamental values and have a shared vision about potential for joint venture creation. This means partners is collaboration or relationship should share belief and have a common understanding of the opportunities for creating value together. They need to be aligned in their fundamental principles and have a clear mutual vision for what they can achieve collectively. Alliance strategy must be derived from business, corporate, and functional strategy. In other words, alliance strategy should be synced with a larger picture of how the company operates and what it aims to achieve. Next naman po ay the alliance must be important to both partners, especially top management. Alliance to succeed, it should be strategic priority and top level commitment for both parties. Pang-apat naman po ay the alliance must be important to both partners, especially top management. The alliance should hold significance for both partners with a particular emphasis on its importance to the top management or leadership of each organization. And next, joint activities must have added value for customers and partners. Joint efforts should create something valuable and meaningful for all parties involved. The alliance must be accepted by key stakeholders. And last, partners contribute key strength but protect core competencies. It highlights the end to strike a balance between sharing strength and preserving what makes each partner distinct. Next po. This is the key stage of international develop, development people. Stage 1, domestic company. The primarily domestic company exports some of its product through local dealers and distributors in foreign countries. The impact on the organization's structure is minimal because of their department at corporate headquarters handles everything. So dito po sa stage 1 is local lang from the word domestic. Ang pangunahing domestic na company po ay nagte-trade ng ilan sa mga produkto nito ay pamamagitan ng mga local dealer at distributor. Stage 2 ay domestic company with export division. Success in stage 1 leads the company to establish its own sales company with office in other countries to eliminate the middlemen and to be better control marketing. Because exports have now become more important, the company establishes an export division to oversee foreign sales offices. Dito naman po sa stage 2 is nagkakaroon po ng export division which is concerned with the export of business goods or services. Stage 3, primarily domestic company with international division. Success in early stage leads the company to establish manufacturing facilities in addition to sales and service offices in key countries. The company now adds an international division with responsibilities for most of the business function conducted in other countries. Dahil successful na ang domestic and nagkaroon na ng export division, ito ang stage kung saan ang company ay nagtayo na ng import division na siyang tutulong para mag-function ang business in international. Stage 4 are multinational corporation with multi-domestic emphasis. Now, a full-fledged MNC, the company increases its investments in other countries. The company established a local operating division or company in the host countries, such as Ford of Britain, to better serve the market. The product line is expanded and local manufacturing capacity is established. Sa stage 4 naman po ay success na ang company in which they expand their business multinational. And last stage, the most successful MNC with global emphasis. The most successful MNC moved fifth stage, in which they have worldwide human resources, R&D, and financing strategies. Typically operating is the goal in a global industry. The MNC denotate the the nation the nation the nationalize its operation and plans product design, manufacturing, and marketing around worldwide consideration. This stage is operate globally, in which they have a broad connection to other worldwide to operate worldwide. Next po. And centralization versus decentralization. Difference between centralization and decentralization. Centralization is concentrate of management and decision making power at the top of organization hierarchy for the purpose of coordinating financial, human, and other resources, while the decentralization, one that has department head and project manager with key decision making responsibilities, thus freeing top management and business owners to focus the strategic planning and big picture decisions. Next, prod, the product group structure of American Cyanamid enables the company to introduce the manage a similar line of product around the world. This enables the corporation to centralize decision making along product lines and to reduce costs. The geographic area structure of Nestle, in contrast, allows the company to tailor products, the regional differences, and to achieve regional coordination. This is the example of product group structure. Next po. This is the example. First is the directors. Under the directors, board of directors is president. Under of president with R&D and corporate staff. And then after R&D and corporate staff, they have 5 operating companies in different countries. And, and under of the operating companies, this is meron pang mga product group na nasa baba ng mga operating companies in different countries. And yun lang po.